You too. Welcome back to another video, you know what I'm saying? We got the David up, David. Yeah, man, let's get into it. Okay.
I was young, watching pain through the cracks of the door. Daddy left early, left a hole I couldn't ignore.
Her body was found in a frunk, and I'll give you a little bit spoiler before we even get to it, because I saw it in Trap Lord Ross video. Supposedly, they're saying that the dude cut up her body, put it in a bag, put it in the front trunk of his Tesla, and then put a bunch of like, you know when you go through a car wash and you get that little tree, you get that tree air freshener. He put like 10 of them in the bag with a rotten corpse, thinking it was gonna.
Yeah, what the fuck? That's stupid as fuck. What made him think that shit was gonna work? Like, come on, gang. Come on, gang. Them hoes don't even last that long. They probably last like a day, maybe two. So why the fuck would you think that was gonna work? That was the stupidest shit ever, gang. Niggas don't think like this, dumb as hell.
Hide the scent. Like, now granted,
Dumb as
let me
shit.
say someone did that. They're saying he did that, but someone did that. And if he did that, that's crazy. But listen to the update. Here we go.
All right, it's day 2 of David's preliminary hearings. Very dark, not quite as dark as yesterday, but when David entered the courtroom, again, shackled and cuffed, he was uncuffed, and he was shackled at the waist still. His lawyer, Blair Burke, she did the thing where she kind of rubs his back and whispered to him, and it really does give me vibes of like Leslie Abramson with the Menendez brothers. Brian Entit pointed out that Ann Taylor also did this with Brian Kohberger. I think that some of these female defense attorneys, they think that it makes their male client maybe seem like less of an alleged monster. So I did notice that. And David, once again.
Hey, on some real shit, do y'all think he feel bad for what he did? Like, I really want to know, do y'all feel like he feel any remorse about what he did? You know what I'm saying?
Very casual, very unfazed, sitting back in his chair, watching the screen, watching the witnesses, no type of emotion whatsoever. So,
Yeah, he probably don't give a fuck. Take that back. He probably don't care at all.
Marilyn Bernardsky, one of his defense attorneys, continued her cross-examination of former Mogul Vision finance director Benjamin Greger, who again was testifying that nearly all of David's finances were handled by his mother. I think the defense was really trying to hone in here that although the people is claiming that.
Okay, let me also pause to remind you guys yet again. So where we are in this criminal proceeding is that he was indicted. Actually, no. Let me stop it. He wasn't indicted. There was criminal charges filed. Now it was filed by the DA.
So he haven't been indicted yet? I thought they just haven't gave him his sentence. I thought he was indicted though, but I guess not. Guess not.
Now, this was after supposedly the police kind of like made it a thing where they're like, we're arresting him. They arrested him without charges. Then the charges came after, but from the DA. But here's the thing, the DA didn't secure an indictment. Now, this is how it works in every pretty much county, every local municipality, and also even federally. You could have a cop. So if a cop sees you do something, he could write a complaint, get you locked up. But if it's of a felonious level where you could spend at least over a year and a day in jail, most places usually require it to be grand juried, right? So if it's definitely murder, they want a grand jury, which means the majority of, like, it's usually a large panel, so it could be like 23. Some places it could be 15, but let's say 23, at least 12 people, which is, it's like 55%, saying that these charges should go to trial. So you just need majority to indict. So of 23 jurors, you need majority to indict. Now you need unanimous to convict. So 12 or 12. You need 12, all 12, because it's going to be 12 jurors. Now, if you don't have...
So as long as they get most of the jury feeling like he's guilty, they can indict him. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this going to happen, though. Regardless, I ain't going to hold you. I ain't gonna even hold you, gang.
Have a grand jury indictment, but charges are brought. The other way to continue to a trial is what's called a preliminary hearing. And in those preliminary like proceedings, it is the evidence is presented in front of a judge, and the judge begins to say, do you have enough for trial? Remember this. The difference is in a grand jury indictment, and they always say there's a saying that you can indict a ham sandwich. If you get an indictment via a grand jury, usually it's a secret proceeding and the defense doesn't know about it. They don't have a chance to testify. Their defense lawyer doesn't have a chance to like cross-examine witnesses. It's all what the prosecutor says. That's why it's heavily favored for the prosecutor. Diddy,
Bro, they just taught me something new. I ain't know that shit.
got indicted. In LA a lot, they do these preliminary hearings. For example, ASAP Rocky, there was a preliminary hearing, which by the way was public, like it was actually filmed. In this case, they're doing a preliminary hearing, which means that David's defense team gets to kind of play defense against what they're alleging. Remember, they're not proving he's guilty yet. They're just proving they have probable cause for him to stand accountable for the charges they brought, which is murder. Okay? Now, let me play this now that you understand where we are. So we're not even at the trial yet. We're not at the trial, but we're at the stage where prosecutors have to publicly. That's the difference between preliminary hearing and a grand jury indictment. Grand jury indictment, secret, and defense not there. Preliminary hearing, defense is there, and it's public. Okay, so now we're finding out what they really do have against them. Sorry. No, it's not trial. It's not trial yet.
Crimes or these alleged crimes were financially motivated. Truthfully, he didn't know how much money he had. Gregor said that, sorry if you can hear me. Gregor said again, David didn't really have much involvement. He never asked him how much money he was making or what was coming in. And Marilyn Bednarski tried to ask him about a charity or a trust that was used for giving to charity. She kept bringing this up. There were objections to this, just to, why are we even talking about this? What's the relevance here? And the judge sustained the objections because she's like, yeah, this is a probable cause hearing. And I was like, I see what they're doing, but, there's no jury here. So stop trying to say he gives to charity. This was interesting. There is a new name to watch for, a bodyguard named Sheldon. Sheldon Jaculus, I think I heard, but it was tough. Even Gregor, the witness, couldn't quite.
I just noticed that she said something about him giving to charity like that shit means anything, bro. That shit don't mean nothing. The fuck, that has nothing to do with what bro did or none of that. Like, I don't even know why they even said that. Like,
tell us his last name.
No,
so he was identified, Sheldon, as Burke's live-in security guard. And Gregor testified that he lived at David's home for about 6 months. But Gregor said that he never discussed what happened inside the home with David ever. And also this was during the redirect examination with Beth Silverman. So she also pointed out during this redirect that, you say David didn't have any say in his finances, but, he signed this contract himself, or he signed the contract for this home that he bought. So he kind of knew something about how much money he had. And Gregor said, yeah, okay, I got it. He also Gregor acknowledged that David did have an account or a credit card or two, or both, outside of what he managed for Mogul Vision.
And by the way, she's being thorough here, so I know some of the like I think when we hear Trap Lord, he gives a lot more salacious details. She's just being thorough. We're gonna find out that David had a contract with his record label that was for $6 million per album. Every time you dropped an album, I know
$6 million per album, bro. What the fuck? And you just threw that away, like. Just throw it away because you want to be weird. $6 million an album, bro. Like, what the fuck, man? The fact he blew up because of TikTok and shit, and you can get $6 million per album, and you just throw the shit away. That shit is wild, gang. This shit is wild.
Oh, you guys never heard of his music, but his music was pretty popular. He was going to get $6 million per album.
That's
Just to put it in
crazy.
perspective, that's fucking huge. That would be
Facts.
probably more than 95 to 96% of all musicians currently that's on a major. I say that to say his music clearly was either highly profitable or definitely his label, which was Interscope Records. They were definitely exploiting his likeness and his music to a very high level. By the way, his monthly listeners was out the roof.
So
crazy.
let's see. Gregor did point out that at one point he was asked about the trips, the trip to London, the trip to Texas. You know, did David purchase this through anything you saw under the Mogul Vision accounts? And he said no. And Beth Silverman kind of insinuated, okay, right. So he purchased this through his own account, which he managed. And Gregor was like, yeah, probably. Then it came up. Silverman asked if Gregor ever discussed Celeste going to London with Colleen Burke or Josh Marshall, and he said no. But then he did end up admitting that he discussed Celeste traveling to London with Robert Morgenroth, in which he said he just kind of asked him if it was true. Like, is it true she traveled to London with David? And I'm paraphrasing here. And again, yes, Gregor said he later learned the airline tickets were bought through one of Burke's personal accounts, nothing that he manages. So then Silverman goes back to this bodyguard, Sheldon, towards the end of her redirect, and she's like, so, and it was very forceful. She was like, did you ever discuss David and Celeste having fake IDs or drugs and alcohol or partying or Sheldon driving them to parties? And it was like, whoa. There were some objections, and Gregor was like, nope, no. So I'm thinking that the line of questioning around this Sheldon.
How old is this nigga? Cause why the fuck did he need a fake ID too? Let's see how old this man is. Cause I'm confused why the fuck he needed it. Why the fuck he needed an ID too? Bro, he 21. He turned 21 in March. So I see why he needed the fake ID.
Sheldon character was very significant, so we should probably remember this name.
Okay. Again, I know you guys do care about the salacious shit, right? I'll play a little bit of trap lore as well. Listen to this shit. This is crazy. Now, and by the way, Trap, I'm proud of you, my boy. This is part of the lane that I think you're gonna do so amazing in, and I think this is great for you. Listen.
Okay, so we just got some crazy information about David's financials from inside the courtroom, and this is probably one of the craziest things I've heard. We heard the total potential value of his recording contract. So apparently, David lost out on between $6 to $12 million because of the murder of Celeste. He had an insane recording contract with Interscope. We've just heard from somebody that was from Interscope that was talking on the situation and his contract.
Damn,
So
crazy.
someone from Interscope is testifying basically
6 to
towards
12
his
million.
financial
You blew it.
ability and how much,
What the fuck?
financially he was well off. And they're testifying that, hey, per his contract, he's getting $6 million per album.
Pulled up all of his numbers, all of his earnings for every single year. It was absolutely crazy. But basically, best case scenario, he was looking at like $3 million per album. He was basically
Oh, never mind. $3 million per album. Sorry.
in line to get $13 million minimum.
Even if it's only 3, like that's still crazy. Like 3 million per album, bro. Niggas hardly getting that for 5-6 albums. Like for you to get that per album, bro, that's crazy.
If he'd gone through with his third and fourth album, best case scenario, he was going to get $6 million per album, and he
Wait, I thought it was 3. Never mind. Okay, 6.
might have got $17 million complete.
They don't know which one it is. Nigga said 3 at first. Now you talking about 6. Either way, nigga, there's some bread. He just fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Completely out of the deal. But what it turns out is that Interscope, they terminated his contract at the end of December 2025. He's had no money in 2026, and he's missed out on those millions. That's going to be a bad look for him.
Okay, so that's one thing.
And it's crazy because I don't know if he was signed to them when he dropped his album or whatever, but if he did, all them views and shit that's going to them, and they ain't got to worry about paying you shit no more because you ain't even part of they, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
I think what Lauren was talking about was the fake ID, but I gotta play this real quick. Check this out.
Okay, so I think I might have just seen one of the dumbest things that David has done in this whole debacle. We just saw testimony from one of the criminalists who was actually there at the yard, who was going through the car when it was found with the remains of Celeste in it. And what we found out was that apparently the car, not just the car, but the front, the body bags, all the way through the car, in the center console, the front cabin, the back cabin, and the back seats, inside the front, inside the bag, it was littered with air fresheners. The guy had put air fresheners everywhere. That's got to be one of the dumbest things I've heard in this whole case. He really thought that just chucking air fresheners at the problem was actually going to fix it. And it wasn't. It was like a whole combination. I think they said that there was around 11 plus air fresheners. We did actually see a picture of them. And it was a combination of about 4 or 5 of those, you know, kind of Christmas tree shaped air fresheners. And then those ones that you plug into the air vents of your car. This guy really is that dumb that he thought chucking a bunch of air fresheners in the front trunk would solve this problem. It is insane. But I'll keep you posted on any more updates as they come out. Okay.
And another update. Listen to this.
Okay, so I just saw some of the worst stuff from this trial. There was blood absolutely everywhere in David's garage, on the floor, on...
Oh, wow. See, we've never heard this before. So they found blood.
Yeah, I seen him say something about that. I think in the last video I did, he said something about that. But yeah, I heard about that.
We didn't know that they found blood in his house and whatever. We thought they did a bang-up job cleaning the shit. So they're saying they did find blood there.
The black gym mats that were on the ground in his Tesla, not just the front trunk, but also the back trunk. When they lifted up the kind of trunk liner in the back trunk, that was covered in blood too. The very furthest...
This nigga wanted to get caught, bro, because what the fuck? How you tried to do everything possible to get rid of it, but did nothing at all? Like, what the fuck, bro? Dumbest fucking criminal ever, bro. Like, just dumb.
Back rear seats in the car appeared to have, they called it, they call it luminol in the films, but I think it's
literally shit that should have been common sense, bro. So he cleaned this shit and thought that they still couldn't figure it out if it was blood in there. Come on, gang. Where's your common sense, bro?
It's got a different name when it actually is used in real trials and real forensic work. But basically, it glowed up when they sprayed it with this substance on the back 3 rows of the seats. Everywhere was just covered in blood. We saw the blue kiddie pool in his garage, covered in blood. They said it smelt fresh like laundry. Everything had been scrubbed down. They even found a black trash bag filled with wet wipes that were covered in brown substances that basically was likely blood. So that's what we've seen so far. It's very messed up. I'll keep you guys posted what else I hear. Okay, so I just saw some of the work.
Wow. Not gonna lie. That sounds wild. Anyway, I do want to play or keep playing with Lauren. Let me find her.
My thing is, how nobody heard him cutting up the body or nothing. Like, if he was using a chainsaw, bro, in a garage, like, you gonna hear that shit. That shit is gonna be loud. Nobody complained about the noise and none of that shit. Like, it's crazy.
Thing on Twitter that we could just kind of skip through. We don't care about the bodyguard. Clearly, like, the bodyguard was trying to get like fake IDs and stuff. Was trying to get fake IDs for, you know, remember the girl was underage, right? So let's see. Give me a second. Could we? Okay, here we go.
The bodyguard need to be in fucking jail too, cause how the fuck you knew she was underage and you trying to get fake IDs for her and shit? You knew he was fucking with an underage girl, cause you was trying to get an ID for it. So what? Niggas is dumb, gang. Literally just made yourself a part of a crime for what? Literally for nothing.
Two of so yeah, it got a little hostile for a minute, and then the next witness, this was kind of long. Those numbers are subject to change. I forgot my glasses. I could not see the screen very well, but I do think they are largely accurate. But again, I will be making changes once I get those exhibits if necessary. So yeah, let me see what else. I mean, during the cross-examination by Marilyn Bednarski, which was pretty tough, he wasn't really understanding some of her questions about the contracts and this and that, the contracts that were broken with David.
That's the person from Interscope. Okay. Patrick Steinfeld, attorney for Celeste Rivas Hernandez family, they spoke. Let's see what the family attorney's saying. Remember, this is the person who died, Celeste Rivas, the young girl. Her family obviously going to show up because they want to see justice be served, and they're not going to be talking to the media, but they have an attorney that will talk to media for them.
Rick, how are you? How are you doing? It was a rough day.
Is there a place to make a statement around here?
We would love for you to make a statement somewhere. I don't know if there's a podium. Yeah, can you give it to us first?
Sure. Well, today was an absolutely crushing day in the preliminary hearing. The evidence that was put on by the prosecutor was absolutely damning, showing the images of Celeste's decomposed body.
And that's also the thing that's happening, Chad. So apparently if you're in court, they're not doing too much censoring. They're not like, okay, this is too gruesome. Maybe we just hand out pamphlets. Well, there's no jury at this point. They're actually showing it on the screen, the body that's rotten with maggots and flies and it's like whatever it looks like, that's what you're seeing. So you could imagine, you know, obviously a judge should be unfazed by that, but people in the gallery are going to be like, whoa, what the fuck?
In the trunk of the Tesla, and the parents were sitting there, and it was just absolutely horrible. But they wanted to show strength, and they're here for Celeste, but it was extremely bad. And
Hi, Patrick. How are you? How are you doing?
Okay. All righty then. Cool.
That's crazy.
All right. It's crazy that homeboys just like threw in a bunch of this was this is the D.
I ain't gonna lie, it's over with for bro. Like anybody that think he's still innocent, it's crazy, bro. And you just can't fucking see, like, you know what I'm saying? Because ain't no way you think this man is innocent. Like, ain't no way you think that.
DA spoke after this. After
No
the
way.
first day. Let's see what the DA says.
Of David Anthony Byrne, the singer David, spelled D4vd. This preliminary hearing will last approximately 3 to 5 days, at which point we will be seeking to hold David to answer for 3 felony counts of which he has been charged. First-degree murder with special circumstances, the count of lewd and lascivious acts with a 13-year-old, and the count of mutilation of human remains. David will be facing a maximum punishment of life without the possibility of parole.
Damn. See, lucky he didn't get the death penalty. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they do that out there in California and shit like that, but if you was in Texas, boy, them niggas don't care. They'll throw their death penalty at your ass. No cap. Boy, about to get life without parole like this. Man, hey, he did what he did. I ain't gonna lie, I just can't see me doing no shit like that. Like, gang, about to make $6 million per fucking album, bro, and just throw it away like that, cause you want to be weird. Like, shit's is crazy, gang. Shit is crazy out here, my guy.
Or he is also death penalty eligible. The decision on whether or not to seek the death penalty has not been made at this point. Now, the point of a preliminary hearing.
I'm gonna be honest with you. With
It's
all due
over with.
respect, if he's found guilty, I think it's appropriate to seek the death penalty.
Facts.
This guy, you know, whatever the story could be of how she died. Let's say even if it was, okay, maybe I'm tripping, but I was saying like if she died, like say they were taking
Nah, gang, cause you know what he was doing, bro. Like the way you, for one, you killed her, then you cut her up, then you bought burn cages and all type of shit just to trying to think of a way to get rid of the evidence. Like left her body rotting, like all type of shit, bro. You did so much shit. They still haven't even found her fingers, bro. Like that's wild, gang. You know what I'm saying? Nigga deserve that.
Drugs and she actually died, right? The dismemberment of the body, the concealment of the body, all of the stuff that he did really even in post, and even the depravement of you're dealing with a minor.
Facts.
I think really boils to a level where you're like, yes, life in prison is the bare minimum, but at certain point, when you get to certain type of disgusting behavior, you got to say, just throw the baby out with the bathwater, okay? Murk this nigga. Like, yo,
What the fuck did that mean? I never heard that before. Just throw the baby out with the bathwater? What, nigga? The fuck is you talking about? I never heard that shit before.
When you get to certain type of disgusting behavior,
Nigga, academics
you
is
got to
funny.
say, just throw the baby out with the bathwater, okay? Murk this nigga. Like, yo,
Murk this
just give him
nigga.
the needle. You get what I'm saying? So, for me, if these allegations are true,
Nigga say murk this nigga.
I wouldn't be opposed to the death penalty. Now, if they're not true, clearly, you don't send the innocent guy to death, but.
Nah, facts.
Is somewhat different than you actually perceive in the media, whether it's TV or the movies. Because what often happens in TV or the movies is you go from an immediate arrest into a trial. But in our system and in California in particular, you have an intermediate step. That intermediate step is a preliminary hearing where effectively the prosecution's evidence is going to be tested before a judge, not a jury. The standard that we have to meet is not beyond a reasonable doubt at the preliminary hearing stage. It is probable cause. We are not obligated, nor will we be presenting all the evidence at a preliminary hearing that we will be presenting at a trial to prove David beyond a reasonable doubt guilty of the 3 felony charges of which he has been charged. So at the preliminary hearing, we will call a number of officers. We estimate there'll be over 10 different witnesses, both officer testimony, coroner testimony, and there'll be individual witnesses as well. And again, we can rely on hearsay and other things that won't be allowed to be relied on in an actual trial. The judge at the end of the presentation of the evidence, and again, this is evidence that can be cross-examined by a defense attorney, and that process has already been done. At the end of the presentation of all this evidence, the question will be, will David be held to answer?
Okay, so he's explained the preliminary process, which is then the judge makes the determination, right? Just not a grand jury.
On the 3 felony charges. We believe we will more than accomplish the evidentiary burden of probable cause at this point to hold David to answer on these 3 felony charges. At that point, if the judge does hold him to answer, we will file an information that will detail the actual 3 criminal charges. Thereafter, there will be a trial date that will be set, and David, if he so chooses, will proceed to trial. And we will prove at that point, beyond a reasonable doubt, that David committed these 3 crimes. And when, we do not predict if, when he is convicted, we will then be seeking the sentence that we are allowed to seek by.
Notice he said when, not if. He even corrected himself and said not if, but when. You know what I'm saying? It's because they know, bro, is guilty, bro. That man is fucking guilty, gang. And bro's going to jail. That's all it is on that.
Committed these 3 crimes. And when, we do not predict if, when he is convicted, we will then be seeking the sentence that we are allowed to seek by order.
So, NBA Youngboy has.
Why the fuck is he showing Youngboy? This video has nothing to do with Youngboy at all. But anyway, man, like, comment, subscribe. Catch y'all on the next one. Gang.
I was young watching pain through the cracks of the door. Daddy left early, left a hole I couldn't ignore.